What's up, guys? How's it going? You probably heard about this, and if you haven't already, there is an event called Canyon Clash coming up. Now, to give you kind of an idea, right, they do have a frame, they've got like some of these lost coins, and then you can get some items out of it, right? But you're probably wondering, what is Canyon Clash exactly? It's basically where three alliances on a map, very similar in the way that it's going to operate to Foundry. But basically, you're going to pair three alliances up into a single place, and they're all going to be fighting for forts and little airports. So like basically there's going to be like a set of buildings, and of course I can't show you gameplay of it, but I can tell you what to expect and also what to know and what to do. Basically, you're going to have like frozen citadels, which are going to give you like somewhere akin to like 50,000 or so points. Then you've got like ruins, where you've got like little lower level buildings. Now, the main thing you need to know about this is that primarily, for at least for Canyon Clash in particular, you're going to have a set number of, basically it breaks it up into legions, right? And in each legion, you're going to have however many dispatched players out of like 40 that you could have total, right? Now, again, like that, very similar to Foundry. The only thing that you can really expect from this event is that you got to be furnace level 16 or higher. The second thing that you probably ought to know off the bat is that if you're wanting to know like what the typical strategy is, what's different from this than normal Foundry is that you're actually going to be fighting a fort, and you're going to be 1v1ing each other on that roster. So the way that these work is that basically you set up marches, and those marches are going to go to the building, and then from there you're going to 1v1 back and forth. And obviously, if you win, then you get tossed to the back. And there's a lot of that roster fighting until eventually either one side wins and then it cripples over. So you can kind of expect raids. The nice thing is that because it's like that roster-based system, right? If, for example, you know that, oh, this is going to be filled, then you can retreat. You can pull your marches back. Now, the one thing you should know is that all of your stats are going to get applied in Canyon Clash, except for the troop deployment capacity boosts. And I believe the only other thing was, shoot, I can't remember what the other one was. I know it was deployment capacity, but there was another stat. I'm sure somebody will correct me later on. But the main thing here is that core stats and everything are going to apply. It's just like march speed. That's what it was. March speed and deployment capacity boosts will not get applied. The main thing is, all right, envision that you're going to have like a frozen citadel. You're going to unlock buildings. You do have what are called bastions. Basically, each, like a bastion, an airport, and a ruin, are going to have varying degrees of points that you're going to get for holding and taking these buildings. But you'll start off with a bastion. Each alliance is going to have a bastion, and you're basically going to use this bastion as a place for you to basically you want to hold it, right? But what I'm trying to get at here is that the currency is fuel in this, because every time you march, every time you retreat, anytime you want to revive your troops, you're using fuel, and you're only going to have so much fuel. And so you're going to have this back and forth in Canyon Clash where you're basically going to need to cooperate with your team however you do it, right? You're going to have to coordinate where you're going to attack and where. And more importantly, you've got to basically align up who's your guardians. Now, you might be wondering, what's a guardian? So, like in the case of like the Bastion, for example, that Bastion fort, you can assign a guardian to it, and that guardian is going to get an increased fuel rate, which obviously means that, oh, you know what? If he gets in a situation, a bind, what have you, he's going to have ample opportunity to get the fuel he would need to either march, retreat, heal, what have you. That's kind of the idea behind the Guardian assignments. Obviously, the people that do those assignments are going to be the R4s or higher in your alliance. Outside of that, as far as Canyon Clash in particular, again, I know it's coming up, so I will more than likely have a little bit more detailed information on this when it actually starts. But come Monday, things are going to, obviously there's going to be a matchmaking phase, prep phase, and there's a lot of stuff going into this that you basically kind of plan it in advance, like you do with Canyon, and then you'll have normally the battle itself on Saturday. Again, if there's more questions, and again, if you really want to know like itty bitty detailed information on this, you can always go to the Whiteout Survival Discord for this information. Because again, a lot of what I'm telling you is really just a summary realized in my head to you, and that's really all there is to it, right? But here's what I think you probably ought to think about. And this is more, what the guides are going to tell you, which is to say you probably need to figure out of your alliance who's going to have the best set of chief gear, who's going to have the best set of heroes, and you're going to need to basically have a team of people that are going to be I would say you would probably break it up into two groups. One group being fillers, or people that are basically going to be behind the front runners, the ones that are going to be doing all the damage and basically sending up the marches. And so you got to kind of know who your guardians are going to be, and you need to have effectively what I would describe as captains. You might have like 2 or 3 captains, I think, during this event, because you've got to be able to hold both your bastion as well as you've got minor airports and ruins, and that might be more for the role for the fillers, for those guys to go out and grab and take and hold those. And then you've got to have captains who are going to be in charge of defending those bastions and the citadels and the forts. And then you've also got to have basically what I would describe as a red team, the attack group, guys that are going to go after your opponent's bastions and their forts and their bases. And so all of that is going to require some coordination, and you're going to need to effectively, I think, if you want to be in the best position possible, you want to communicate and get ahead of this before it actually arrives in your alliance. Again, if you have more questions, like I said, I haven't even experienced it myself. I've only read what I've seen so far. All I know is, with some certainty, is that it's going to be very heavily influenced by whoever the best spenders are going to be in your alliance. It's going to be heavily influenced by, well, not only that, right, but you're also going to be, in a way, you're going to have some of your better players grouped, and you're going to have to choose whether to play defense or offense. And that's going to be the tricky thing, because I think a lot of people are going to be really jumpy about who they're going to send Patrick to, who they're going to send Sergey to, because just like any other defense, the thing that's going to be interesting is that these are 1v1 holdings. It's not like you're going to be able to just, and from the way they're describing it, it's not even like a fort so much. It's not like you're doing rally fort-based type things. I don't know this yet, but that's what it sounds like. And if that's the case, it's going to change the way you approach this than you would if you would have been playing in Foundry. But just to say, that is all I know as far as the Canyon Battle event goes. But if you have more questions, or somebody would like to criticize what I said that may be not completely true, then feel free in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next time.